All right, this is your test review. I'm going to work it out for you and explain it so that you can look over it and ask any questions if you need to before your test. Part one is talking about drawing the pictures. The first thing says H is the midpoint of JB. So you need to draw a line JB. You need to label each endpoint with a J and a B, and they need to be points, not arrows, because there are no arrows on the line above that. And the midpoint is going to be the point in the middle. So we're going to label that H. But remember, to signify that it is the midpoint, you need to put a tick mark on each of the halves. That shows that they are exactly equal and that H is in the middle. The next one says TC and NV are parallel. So TC is a line with points on the ends. So you need to draw it like that, TC, and then NV is going to be running in the same direction because remember, parallel means that they do not cross, but it has arrows at each end of it because it has arrows on the picture up here. And to remember to mark to that they are parallel, we mark them with arrows on each of them. Then it tells you that point A is the midpoint of TC. So you find the middle here, mark it with an A, and then each of those segments needs a tick mark to show that it is the midpoint. All right, the next one says WE bisects KL, and they're both going to be lines with points. So I'm going to draw this as KL because it's the one that's being bisected. Bisected, remember, means cut into two equal parts. So then I'm going to draw a line through it and label that one WE. And if it bisects it, like I said, it cuts it into two equal parts. So you do need to label those two segments congruent with tick marks. The next part says TER and angle BER are complementary. Complementary means they form a 90-degree angle corner. So you do need to have that 90-degree mark in there. And it's two angles, so there's going to be a line submarine here. But we need to label that with letters, so you need to look for where it overlaps. It overlaps at the ER on each of them. That means E is going to be the middle, and R is going to be this endpoint here. So then you can put T and B on either of these other two endpoints, doesn't matter which one. All right, this next part is all about naming the types of angles. So the two types of angles we have here, X and Y, are going to be corresponding because they are at the same location on both parallel lines. So they are also congruent. So if you want to label it, they're congruent. So you remember that for your test. The next one, these are going to be alternate interior lines or angles. Alternate interior angles. And the reason is because they're between the parallel lines, but on opposite sides of the transversal. They are also congruent. And the last set here, X and Y, are going to be consecutive interior angles, and they are supplementary. That means they add up to 180. So like X plus Y would equal 180. All right, the first step here for solving is going to be see what kind of angles we have. These are actually going to be corresponding angles. So they're corresponding, which means they are congruent. So we're going to set 2x plus 6 equal to 4x minus 40. And then we need to solve for x. Next, we need to add 40 on both sides. And last step, divide by 2 on both sides. So x equals 23. All right, this next one, identifying the two types of angles we have here. These are actually going to be supplementary because if you notice, they create a straight line together. So 6x plus 7 plus 3x plus 38 is going to equal 180 degrees because straight lines are 180. So you combine like terms. So 9x and 45 equals 180. So we need a minus 45 on both sides. 9x. That looks terrible. 9x equals 135. And 135 divided by 9 is 15. So then x is going to equal 15 here. All right, looking at these two angles, we have vertical angles, which are congruent. So 3x minus 50 equals 2x minus 5, minus 2x on both sides. Add 50 on both sides. X equals 45. All right, we have a triangle with a bunch of labeled angles. And remember, all triangles add up to 180 degrees. So we're going to take everything inside of there and add it up to 180. We want to combine like terms. 8x, 3x, and 3x. So 3 and 3 is 6. 6 and 8 is 14x. Negative 1 and 4 is 3. 3 and 9 is 12. Equals 180. So minus the 12 on both sides. 14x equals 168. Divide by 14 on both sides. The answer is x equals 12. So with this one, all of the angles do add up to 180, but we need to be able to get this angle right here on the inside. But we see we have a vertical angle, so this is also 23 degrees. So then we can use that to add up everything and equal it to 180. All right, combine your like terms, 23, 10, and 3. So 36 and 4x and 2x is 6x equals 180. Minus 36 on both sides. 6x equals 144. Divide by 6 on both sides. 144 divided by 6 is 24. All right, with this one, we are trying to see if the triangles are similar or not. So you want to use the philosophy of the biggest side and the biggest side with biggest side, smallest side with smallest side from there. All right, so I've got 1149 or 47, sorry, over 527 equals, I'm going to do the next biggest, so 777 over 358 equals, oh, let me do that in a different color. All right, and we want to cross multiply these and check them, and they're going to be really big numbers. It just kind of is the way it works. All right, so the first one is 409,479, and this one is 410,626. So these already don't match, so we know that they're not going to be similar. And the reason is sides not proportional. So then we also do not fill in that congruent statement. Make sure that if they are not similar, that you do not fill in that congruent statement. That's a big deal on your quiz or your test. Yet again, we're looking to see if they are similar. So we have an angle of 71 and an angle of 73. They do share this angle up top of U. You can redraw this if you want. So you know they share that angle U, but you already know that they don't share the angle down here. So this one was 73. This one was 71. So you can test it out. 180 minus 73. And you get 107. So this is 107. I drew it a little small. And same thing here, 180 minus 71. So it's going to give you 109. So there's not, remember you can use angle, angle, but this is not that because we don't have two angles. So no, it's not similar. So the reason is angles not congruent. So we don't fill in a similarity statement. So make sure that you are writing the reason. That is very important. All right, last one that we are trying to prove that they are similar or see if they are similar. So we have two parallel lines. So we have a parallel line here and a parallel line here. Those two lines are parallel to each other. So then that means we can mark angle E and angle C congruent. So they're congruent by alternate interior angles. And we can also mark at angle B those two congruent. So by vertical angles. So now we have two sets of angles congruent. We can say, yes, they are similar by angle, angle similarity. So then I've got A, B, E. So no mark to the green mark to the purple mark. So I've got to follow that. So D, B, C. And that order is important. DBC and DCB are not the same thing. Didn't realize I had one more. So this is my last one that I'm trying to figure out if it is similar or not. So I'm going to draw my two triangles again. So I've got 140 and 266 on the small triangle. And then I've got to figure out the whole side there. So I'm going to do 540 plus 140 and get 680 for the top and 266 plus 1026 for the side. So 1292. And they did have that angle V in both of them. So I can go ahead and mark that congruent. So now I can set up my proportion. 140 over 680, because those were both on the top, equals 266 over 1292. And then I can cross multiply and check them. So 680 times 266 is 180880. And then 140 times 1292 is 180880. So that does check. So then, yes, they are similar, and they are similar by side, angle, side similarity, because I had a side here, then I had an angle there, then I had a side there. So side, angle, side similarity. And then I need to look at it says VCB is similar to VTU because I start in the same place over, all the way over, and then all the way down. VTU. This one is dealing with mid-segment. And remember, for mid-segment, if these are both the midpoints that are connected, then you can take this middle piece, times it by 2, and it is going to equal that larger piece on the outside. So 2x times 2 equals 10x minus 21. So distribute. So 4x equals 10x minus 21. We can minus the 10x. I know it's weird to move the 10x, only because normally we move the smaller one. So negative 6x equals negative 21. But because the left side only had one x on it, but we just really wanted to move that. So divide by negative 6. So x equals positive 3.5. All right, and last problem is still doing mid-segment. So it's going to be 2 times the 3x in the middle equals 4x plus 20. So now we need to distribute that. So 6x equals 4x plus 20 minus the 4x on both sides. That x looked terrible. 2x equals 20. Divide by 2 on both sides. X equals 10. And that's it. We are going to do some more practice in class, so please make sure you're looking over this and asking any questions if you have them. Have a good day, guys.